But it's like, okay, how do you get this mentally ill motherfucker just doing random shit? But people love him, I guess. Whatever. But what I'm getting at is like, for this movie, for Gotham to be part of the antagonist, I would kind of be like, yeah, in agreement with. But I get what you mean, SK. Society is kind of vague. It's like, what do you mean by that? Gotham
Right. It
is,
can't be, because society is everybody, and everybody can't be the antagonist.
in this film,
And
it's Gotham. It's like it's gonna be. It looks like it's gonna be the elites or the rich or the people in power, and just because the movie's about this guy who empowers people, or he's not really empowering people, but people see him as an icon to just lose their shit, to just I don't know, just fight the rich, fight the power,
you're right. No, you're
destroy
right.
everything.
I mean, they were, they had a lot of reasons to go nuts, and essentially, everything that happened was gasoline, and he was the match that that struck it and started the fire.
I got news for you. Society's always about 1 hour away from chaos.
You're right.
So we're waiting on our Joker. That's the thing.
I mean, but and I touched on something like that too. I mean, because this movie essentially I mean, no, you're right. It is about chaos. There's like no one side of it. It's essentially like, okay, you're right. The protagonist is not going to win. So
Yeah,
how is he going to win? He goes, okay, I can't win, so I'm just going to burn everything down, and nobody's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's where the hero and villain, separates. As the hero would find a way to win, that would be, sometimes will be honorable, or because sometimes the hero is not always on. The path he takes isn't the most honorable one, but it was the best one.
Right.
This is not about that.
It's like an anti-hero because he is a villain. Like the Joker,
right?
Surprise, surprise, is the villain in the Batman universe. So I mean, it's not going to be like he's going to come on top of anything. He's going to be the top of crime or the underbelly of society or whatever. He's going to be that. So that's the world he shapes, he creates. Now, the way he does it seems haphazardly, and like he doesn't really. Like, he's not doing it for any political reason. That part, I think he meant that in the movie when he says, "I don't really believe in politics." That I don't think he cares. I think he's just doing it out of chaos. Which I know we haven't done this yet, really, but compared to other Jokers, I think this kind of goes with the Dark Knight Joker. Because he was also an agent of chaos and didn't really care, but yet he had a huge following, right? That did things for him too.
Yeah. I mean, no, you're right. He did. Now, I mean, but the thing about it is that Joker did have plans. I mean, he was just as intelligent as Bruce was. I mean, and I think his craziness and his, I don't want to say evil because people say evil subjective, but just his core to be, that bad, he's willing to think outside the box. Because I mean, if you stop at like, towards the end where he gets captured, like he had his guys as the hostages and had the hostages as his guys.
Right. And I'm not exactly sure if the Heath Ledger Joker could pull that off, but I'm not sure if the Joaquin Phoenix Joker could pull that off. I don't think so.
Well, I say that this was the infancy of the Joker.
Okay.
I mean, he was clever enough to, because he was. I mean, if you stop and remember the scene where he's dancing down the stairs.
Which I love that part, by the way.
Yes, that was a great scene. That was such a great scene. It really was. It was almost like he was conducting, It was almost like he's conducting the shit the shit show that is Gotham.
Yeah.
And but then when the police catch him, and he cleverly like gets away from him, and he enjoys it because he literally like has this smile on his face watching. I mean, because those cops got murdered,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, and he's indirectly responsible for it, and he
Yeah.
thought it was hilarious. I mean, because when he put that, when it showed him put on the clown mask, he was enjoying it.
Yeah.
He was
Mhm.
enjoying everything that was happening. So, no, he could end up as the Dark Knight Joker. It's just
Maybe.
we're
No,
looking
he's
at
not
him
smart.
at his infancy.
I know.
He's
I know.
not
SK wants to say. SK, go ahead.
He's not intelligent enough to be the Dark Knight Joker.
Well, that's what I'm saying. His intelligence comes from how dark and morbid and, like I said, evil he is,
Mm.
because he embraces his dark side, because he did with those cops, and look what happened. Like when he was like, "Wait a minute, I know I can lose them amongst them."
Yeah, but that's not
And-
that's
and
that's
he
not
went
the
and
same
snatched
as
the mask
having
off a
enough.
dude. He went and snatched a mask off a dude, knowing that something was going to happen, because he pushed him, and the other guy ended up. Then it started a riot.
All right. So that's like
Yeah, yeah.
situational
And-
awareness.
That's
and
not
it
the
was
same
chaos.
as organizing a 1,000 minions into
It's
a
the
clever.
chaos.
But you remember though that the in the Dark Knight, the Joker, he could plan shit out, not just
Yeah.
spur of the moment. He could plan in advance, and he could convince people to join his cause.
Yeah, that was just
The
that
Joaquin
shit crazy as
guy,
him.
not so much.
But now,
Except
wait.
as a simple.
What if now the way this movie cuts off, we don't know how much of a following he really has exactly. Like we don't really know if the people in the crowd were just like in just support of him for that moment, or if they actually see him as a leader, because we don't really know that, right? It's kind of like, what is he? What's going on here?
Right.
But I would like to see. I'm kind of curious, like how does this Joker lead up, or how does he rise? How does he use that support to like mobilize or grow in strength and power and what? Like, how does it happen? How does it?
See, that's the kind of stuff I wanted to see in this movie, and we never got to it.
Yeah. And Joaquin Phoenix, I don't know. He's not. I don't think he's a sequel type of guy. I don't know if that's going to happen. Which, by the way, hey, if you're listening right now, I got this Crystal Skull vodka. I got this shot glass. I need to put it in here. But $5 donation makes it happen, okay? Okay, look at that. Yes, I'm like Darkside Phil, begging for $5 donations for shots. I'm like a bum on the side of the street. Give me money so I can drink.
Change. Sorry, the bums like in South Park. Change.
But at least you know where it's going, right?
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, I think his planning. I think the way he planned. You're right. I do agree with SK that at first
He's not a smart. He's not a smart
naive.
guy.
He's naive. I want to say he's naive.
He's-
Because you remember when he got fired,
Yeah.
that to me was the first signs of seeing the Joker. Because I mean, you saw how angry he got. He goes, "Oh, I forgot to punch out," and
Yeah.
I feel like that was like the Joker knocking on the door, so to speak. But I don't think that he lacked intelligence. I think he was just naive.
No, he's not a smart man.
Well, there's a situational
He's just
awareness
not.
with him. There is a situational
Then
awareness.
how is it that he was able to, get along with Thomas Wayne, like the richest man in the whole city? Also,
Well, there's a difference
also-
between
also,
being
I
cunning
assume
and being intelligent.
well,
But if you're cunning with, let's say he does have a bunch of followers. If you're cunning with people who see you as some sort of leader, I mean, what could you do with that? You could do a lot with that, right?
could, yeah. I mean, it's possible, yeah.
The one thing I see in common with
You
the
gotta-
Heath Ledger
I mean-
Joker is that this guy will kill someone and walk away and not care about the body. Like, it'd be like he just leaves a mess and he doesn't care. He doesn't really. It's like he's not really thinking about getting caught, because But he'll run away from the cops, though. He'll try to avoid that. But it's like a mixed bag. It's like, okay, the situational chaos, but a little bit of planning. Not really. Just
that
sort
was
of
his plan. Yeah, because he
get
planned
out.
he was planning Murray, but then what he was going to do on the Murray show. That's why he ran from the police. His plan had to be acted out.
That's right.
Yeah, but his plan was to show up at the show, as opposed to doing a bank heist kind of planning. This is what I'm getting at, right?
No, okay.
Yeah, that bank heist
walking on
was pretty
stage
sophisticated.
at the show is not the same level of smarts as getting 30 people coordinated to rob a bank.
No, I mean, all right, but what I'm saying is that this is also him embracing his dark side. Once he did start embracing his dark side, he was
embrace the dark side.
He was able to get, he was able to escape the police. He was able to create, smart enough to create a scene on the train to make it where, I guess you would say, his clowns ended up doing something for him. And like how smooth he was walking away from what he did. Because like I said, the Arthur that we saw, that was not Arthur. That was the Joker. You saw how confident he was walking. How, I mean, that to me is someone I think could end up planning. Because I mean, like I said, this is the Joker in his infancy. So how do you know that he doesn't pick things up?
Because he hasn't yet.
We don't.
He hasn't yet.
He fucking works as a clown.
He did that in the beginning.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the film, he did.
He's not. He doesn't have a job as a clown because it's more fun than being an engineer.
Yeah.
It's not, he doesn't have options because he's not smart enough to have options. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
It makes me wonder though.
Right.
The Heath Ledger Joker, like we don't know anything about his origin story other than what he said about his scars. But then he changed that story twice in the movie, so we don't really know if that's even legit.
Yeah. Well,
but it makes me.
He's a pathological liar.
But I'm willing to
sociopath.
bet. I'm willing to bet that he didn't have a high up job either when he started. So I don't know. Like it seems like we don't really know how sophisticated he would be if he had like the following, because the movie just kind of cuts off. We have the very beginning of the Joker. You don't know what happens because this timeline is like little Bruce. Bruce is like a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, and the Joker's how old?
Yeah.
This kind of pokes a hole in this. How old is the Joker supposed to be in this film? Like,
I don't know.
30?
He looks 40 to me.
Yeah, he still looks 40 to me. But I mean, he might have. It might have been.
SK, you might have a role coming up.
He might have been meant to it, but he might have been meant to be younger, but yeah, he still looked older. But still, it's.
But
like I said, I felt like the scene with Bruce was forced.
His nutrition was not good. I mean, if you starve yourself, I mean, you are going to look aged. I mean, but I don't know, man. He did like if 30 at best. So Bruce was like 9 then, and how old is Batman supposed to be? Like late 20?
Yeah, I think when he starts, if I'm remembering correctly, like he started being Batman like in his college years.
Okay.
Like I think he was like in his college years or closer, or
like 25.
Yeah, I think he was
like
20, 21.
20. Okay. So that would make this Joker like 40, 50. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Caesar looked old.
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah. So maybe somehow.
Because he was.
So SK, I'll give you guys something. Maybe y'all agree with this. Somehow we don't know from the 20-year time from where the movie cuts off. Something could have happened. Something, I don't know. You make your theory to how he rose to become like the Heath Ledger Joker, because that's the closest thing in line. Because he's definitely does not even compare to, let's say, the Jack Nicholson Joker, who was a gangster at the beginning.
That's over the top.
But man, Jack Nicholson, dude, that was
Yeah,
a good Joker.
the Jack Joker is just Jack with makeup on.
Yeah, it's just Jack Nicholson with makeup on.
It was fucking cool though. It was cool.
It was. It really was.
So many good scenes. I mean, that movie too. I still watch that movie. Tim Burton, man, like he didn't really care about the source material either, but it was a good film. Yeah.
No, my friend Shane. Like, I really wish he could have been on here tonight, but because this is something he would have really touched on, because he went and saw it and just said he connected with it, because he's got some issues. I'm not going to go into the detail. I'll let him do it, but he connects with this movie, and him being a psych major, he would, like I said, it's just, I wish he could have been on here. I think he would have really added to this. But
hey, so why isn't he on here? What's going on? A month of horror is going on?
Yeah, horror month's going on right now.
Horror month is going on. That's right.
Horror month is going on right now, and now he really wanted to be on here, but the thing about it is he doesn't have his Skype set to where we could also be on the stream.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens. No problem. But I tell you what I could do later on during this. I could take a peek at our boy and see what he's doing. See how he's doing over there on the stream. You know?
Yeah. Well, I got two windows up right now. I got him and you, so I'm watching him and you at the same time.
So
I've already got a couple scares on him, so it's pretty good.
Good. Here's another deficiency between Dark Knight and Joker. Joaquin, and that is there's a distinct charisma deficit with the Joaquin character.
You're right.
In comparison.
You're right. No, I agree with you on that. I mean, I agree that his charisma is pretty low, but like I said, I feel like Arthur Fleck and the Joker are two very different people. Where Arthur Fleck had no charisma, the Joker does.
And how does that happen?
I mean, hey, personality flips happen all the time. I mean, you remember the scene where he climbed into the refrigerator?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would argue that was the death of Arthur and the birth of the Joker.
I could see that. There's some theories about that scene too. Some people speculate that's actually where he died. Some people there's a theory out there heard that he actually died in that fridge. And the rest of the
it was one of those latching refrigerators.
Yeah.
Those were outlawed actually, because so many kids suffocated in them.
I was about to say why. I said, was it outlawed because Indiana Jones survived a nuclear blast? Sorry.
That would be why they would be not outlawed. But
sorry.
Yeah. So those refrigerators used to have a latching door, and that only opened from the outside, and they've been since replaced without. They're just now held closed magnetically.
Yeah.
And that refrigerator, I remember noting it at the time, going, "How the fuck's he going to get out of there? He can't get out."
Well, like I said, that scene. Like I said, I feel like that scene. Because how do you know what you're seeing is real and not?
Mm-hmm.
Because like the girl that he had the full delusion that he had a relationship,
right? And the level of delusions going on here. I mean, that's a good question they have there, Elliot. Like, how much is reality? How much of the movie is actually reality? How much of it is what Arthur wants to see, because there's various things in the movie where we, especially the Murray scene in the beginning, we know that was a dream that didn't happen, right? That's just his imagination. But other things were okay, like when he's at the comedy club. When he's at the comedy club the first time, he's like laughing.
Trust what you.
Oh.
No, I was gonna say I feel like that Murray scene. The reason why that happened is we're trying to it's trying to show like how much he's really wanting like a positive role model or
right?
positive relationship. But it was I feel like it was also meant to say you can't trust anything you see here.
Right.
Because there is a show.
Well,
there's a TV show that does that right now, Mr. Robot. Because you can't trust anything you see in that show. I mean, they disguise like the delusions so well, but when they finally reveal what the reality was, the reality is so close to the delusion. You're like, how did I not put that together?
Right. I haven't seen it though. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, Mr. Robot's a great show.
All right.
But it was clear. I mean, the filmmakers did make it clear that was a flight of fantasy.
Well,
if
scene,
you will.
Yes.
That scene, yes. But
but other things were not made clear.
Correct.
Either way.
That's why I said that I feel like we're seeing inside his psyche, but we're also being told we can't trust anything we see from here on out.
Mm-hmm. Like there's various things that people brought up, all sorts of theories, different things. Like the Pogo Club. The first time he's there, he's in the crowd and he's laughing, but he's laughing at odd times. He's laughing like at times no one else is laughing. And not only that, but notice that the audience doesn't react to when he laughs the way he laughs, which in other scenes where he does laugh like that, people do kind of react, or people react to him. There's a very few, but like let's say in the very beginning, I think when he's on the bus, he's messing around with the kid. Oh, that mom is freaking out. Don't talk to my kid that way. On the Murray show when he's like acting weird, he's definitely getting a reaction. But you have this guy who's laughing odd times. No one's looking at him at all. No one's saying anything. No one's doing anything. They're all indifferent. I don't know. Did that scene actually happen? Was he actually ever at the comedy club in the audience like that, or was that just
probably
what?
Probably.
Well, hold on. You talking about when he was in the audience?
Yeah,
when he was in the audience.
Yes. Yeah. That I honestly, yes, I agree with you because honestly, it's very possible you're not sure if that happened. Because I mean, you're right. I agree with you. How do you know that happened? We do know that him being on stage happened because it got put on. It got put on TV. But you're right, like which was a shit thing for Murray to do.
Yeah, well, that's what people who host a show do sometimes, right? I mean,
yeah,
there's various hosts, various podcasts you could probably think of now that have invited people on for different reasons. It happened here on this show before.
No,
right?
I would never be a part of such things.
Italian Boomhauer. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, remember?
Classic
guy. But I actually did try to help him out, but he didn't help himself. Okay, but anyway. Oh, about that scene though. So when he's on stand-up, he's like telling his jokes. Obviously, he's bombing, right? But in his perspective, it looked like he was getting some sort of reaction. Slightly positive, kind of, sort of. But when Murray's playing it, it's just like you don't hear the same stuff. To me, it sounded like you heard more silence when Murray was playing the clip versus when you heard it when he was first doing it. Like there's a few chuckles, not a whole lot, just a few things. Okay.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable chuckles.
Yeah,
because it was a cringeworthy scene.
Oh, it was. So it was like, okay, were those chuckles something that he heard in his head? Like he's getting that kind of response? And was it really supposed to be dead silence?
He imagined the girl being there. So
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
His whole perspective on it was imagined.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing that's pretty trippy
yeah.
about this film. That's another reason why I like this so much. Other than other comic book movies, you could do so much with this. You could actually watch this again and question, if is this real? Like, did this actually happen? Are there layers to this? I don't know. Like, other comic book films are pretty much like popcorn, eating, just having a good time, action flicks, pretty much live action video games that you can't play. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, because honestly, if you stop and think about this, like the scene after he gets rescued from the police and like he's dancing on the car, and then out of nowhere, he's back at a mental hospital laughing.
Oh, that's the other theory. I think they call that the last laugh. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the last laugh. And then, but the thing about it is you're sitting there like, okay, what was real? But the thing is but you know, when he's sitting there like, I'm just thinking of a joke, and then all of a sudden you get a flash of Bruce standing over his parents, and it was like, okay, do you want to tell it to him? He goes, no, you wouldn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, that you can interpret that the way you want. I personally think that he really did. He really was the one who killed Thomas and Martha Wayne. Because why would he have that in his brain? He was never there to see it.
Right.
From our perspective.
Oh, you think he was the one at the theater? He was the one who did it.
I think he was the one at the theater that did it. Yes. But we don't get to see that perspective. But you're right on the fact of there's a lot of other things that could have happened. Because, I mean, let's stop and think about this. How do we know, you're right about we can't trust anything. How do we know that everything we've seen leading up to him laughing, you know, the last laugh was, you know, just something in his head, and the reason why he's there in the hospital is because he killed Thomas and Martha Wayne, and he's just imagining everything else.
That's interesting. Yep. That could possibly be. So everything else is a dream, or not dream, a delusion, but he actually killed Martha and Thomas.
Yeah. I mean, and going back to Shane,
when,
and honestly, I loved like, because Shane says he felt weird about the ending, and I was like, because like when I asked him what he thought, he literally, I would say the movie was a 10, but he came out and said, 9.5. I'm like, okay, what would have made it a 10? He says, if after he was rescued, he went down the alleyway and just happened to run into Thomas and Martha Wayne, and then it just cuts to black, you hear 2 gunshots, and then he starts laughing. And I was like, ooh, that is chilling. That would have been a real chilling, because like you didn't get to see it, but you know what happened. And like all you heard was the gunshots and that laugh, that, you know, the really crazy laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
And even according to Todd, you know, Todd Phillips, like that laugh at the end is supposed to be the actual real laugh. Like that's the only time the Joker actually laughs. So the rest of it's supposed to be just like forced and fake, and just to fit like some sort of cultural norm or whatever. But so there is something about the
neurological disorder. But yeah, you're right. Like the last laugh was him really laughing.
Yeah. And if you're someone sick like him, hell, you thought you were related to the family. You thought you were a lost son of Thomas Wayne. Wouldn't that be something amazing, huh?
That would have been an interesting twist, because I mean, if you stop and think about it, how does the Joker remain Batman's arch nemesis unless he's like sharing DNA with him and has the same kind of thinking capabilities,
right,
so to speak?
Well,
you know, but I mean,
and what if he got a hold of some of those resources?
Yeah,
I mean, that could be. I mean, that could have been an interesting twist, but I could have gone either way. I could have gone, okay, that would have been an interesting twist if they ran with that, but I'm fine with the way they did go with it, because if you stop and think about it, yeah, we're given the name Arthur Fleck, but he was abandoned, so essentially we don't know his real name.
Right.
Arthur Fleck was just what he was given, but he was not given a name as a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if you stop and think about it, okay, he like when he found out he was adopted, he didn't consider himself Arthur no more. He literally said, "I thought my life was a tragedy." No, it's a fucking comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, like I say, it's just I could have gone either way with it, but it's you're right. The last laugh that was really unnerving.
Mm-hmm. It was a very powerful laugh.
And it was very powerful. But I mean, and also, even I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, okay, the freaking social worker is just sitting there watching this happen, him in handcuffs, and she does not seem fazed at all. And even I'm just like, okay, you are so on borrowed time.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, that's literally, you know, I was telling, you know, during one of the breaks, I guess you would say, me and SK were talking, and I said this guy was literally asking for help, like throughout the entire movie until the Joker took over, because he was trying to like hint at her, hey, I was thinking about being when I was locked up, and I
Yeah.
liked it. And
you know what? And there's
then
also a theory that some of the stuff he said to her, he didn't actually say, but he wanted to say. Just because the way she reacted to him. Like, now, I've worked with some social workers before, and, you know, I've been in some therapy sessions before. Well, I'm not going to give too many details, but sometimes the reactions or responses are just, like, planned, and no matter what you say, it's going to be the same shit. But
almost like coached,
right? There's some theories out there that perhaps what we are believed to be what he said to her, he didn't actually say but wanted to say. So that's
possible. That is possible. That is very possible.
Let me ask SK this, because I know SK, you have your feelings about comic book movies, and I share them too.
I'm bored to death with them.
Oh yeah. So when it comes to this, though, I mean, this is not the same.
This is not a comic book movie in any sense of the way, other than the
it's a
name
movie
of the
that have characters. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I agree with you, SK.
There's nothing. Everything that happens in this movie could happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. You know, it's very imaginative, but it's not fanciful, and it's not, you know, it's not. There's no Batman utility belt bullshit, you know.
Not
that's
yet.
Fine for
There's
that's fine for a comic book, but it's not. There's no foundation in reality for that kind of shit. It's.
Yeah.
In this movie, everything was real.
Yeah.
Everything that happened could happen. There was no deviations from, current reality.
I thought you would at least like that. I thought maybe you would at least like that break from the guys. We're going to be watching a video game. We'll be watching some crazy stuff, which I do like every now and then. But it's like, well, come on, can we have a movie with some substance at least, kind of, sort of? This movie tried that. I think it did.
Well, and one of the aspects of that I also like a lot is the writers and directors let him get hurt physically.
Yeah.
The thing that happens so often in comic book movies is nobody gets hurt. I mean, people die, but the main characters don't even, they might like, oh gosh, I got a bloody lip, darn, after falling 40 floors down through, landing in the cement, and then they get up, dust themselves off, and move and go on. It's like nobody gets hurt. You got to put your characters at risk,
right?
If you're ever going to care about them, you have to believe that they could really get hurt or die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they did that well with this.
Yeah, Yeah. Talking about how it was real. I'd also I'd like to touch on the controversy that has been like the attacks on this movie, because I personally feel that what you just said, one of those things right there, is the reason why it's been attacked, is because it is dripping with realism. It's dripping with reality, and I feel like that a lot of people, or the people that were against this movie, or people that like can't live in reality. So
Well,
to speak.
see, the problem with the fucking morons in the media, and I'm sorry, but they're
They are
just the
morons.
dullest.
They are
They're
morons.
they're
They
the
are.
dullest, slowest people on earth, damn near. And that is that they want to have it both ways. When you go after, you know, they want to say that, when it's a movie they like and they're in favor of it, but other people criticize, this may influence kids or people to do something we don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're all, oh, but it's just fiction. It doesn't influence anybody.
Right?
But then when they're against it, they're like, oh my God, this could influence people.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were wanting it. I think that
Oh,
they
they totally
literally were
were.
wanting it to
They
happen.
totally were. Man, the journalists were talking about, oh man, this is gonna be an incel movie. Oh man, there'll be violence over the place. Oh my god, clowns rising, all this shit. It got to the point where the military got involved, dude. You know it's messed up when people who are not even tapped into the internet tell you, "Are you gonna be watching the Joker movie? Why? Oh my god, do you see this warning?" I'm like, oh my god, this person is not even tapped into it. That shit, right? Doesn't even know what YouTube is. I'm like, what? Oh god, this is stupid. Come on now, come on. They were wanting it. I'm glad nothing happened.
Well, yeah.
I'm glad nothing did happen, because now
Of course they want it. They want to be able to, I mean, they want violence to happen. And to be able to predict it is even better for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? And there's truth to that too, SK. If they really want to cover violence, they could just cover all the murders and drive-by shootings that happen in the fucking ghetto. But you know what? They don't, because it's everyday occurrence. They want something that sticks out. They want a school shooting at a white community or some shit like that. Oh, sorry.
No, no. Did you see Project Veritas's recent expose of CNN? You're right on the money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude, I did see that shit, dude. Everyone who has a fucking brainstem knows that shit is fucking bullshit. Man, they're not producing fucking news anymore. They're producing. Everyone. I think everyone's.
No, I've said it many times. They publish opinions and sell it as fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not a new thing. It's just become 100% of the time now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and then there was the whole the video footage that was supposed to be from Syria, and it was from Kentucky.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I ain't gonna lie. I cracked up at that.
Because so-called reporters and journalists, they don't even leave the fucking office anymore.
They don't. They use Twitter. They use bullshit that they can find on their desk, which is sad because like us here, we could easily out-research them and any bullshit they come up with. It doesn't make any sense. Like, they must think we're all fucking retarded or something. I mean that.
They're not really bright, but the problem is they think they are.
Yeah.
There's this part of the IQ bell curve that is, if you slice it, if you put a line down the middle where, that's the dead on center average, and then you go to the left a little bit to where you're below average, but not like, really dumb. Mm-hmm. There's this section there where those people tend to think they're the smartest people on earth, and they're below average, but they think they're really smart.
Well,
And
that
that's
also kinda
journalists.
no, you're right. That also kind of goes back to I consider it a form of brainwashing,
Hmm.
and the reason why
Yeah.
is because I feel like they are the way that they can control you is by making you think, "Hey, you are just so smart."
Mm.
Because if they sit there and say, "Hey, because you agree with us, you are just so smart," and at that point in time, they're not going to research. They're not going to fact check. And I've seen it. I've
Yeah.
seen it
I mean,
so many times,
I've heard
and
some.
I've disillusioned a few people saying because like I would sit there and go, okay, hey, you see this picture that they're
Yeah.
passing off, yeah, and then I show the origins of it, and they're like,
Mm,
oh, well,
that's
I'm
crazy.
sure they showed it for some reason. I'm like, you are so brainwashed, you can't even accept the facts.
Okay, so right now, let's go and give some horror month some love real fast. So right now,
Okay.
I'm stream sniping horror month. That's what you see right here, the Resident Evil game. I'm not playing
Yeah.
it. All right. First of all, he's playing too good for it to be me. If it was me, I've already died. So can you tell us about this real fast,
Honestly, if you're
Elliot?
gonna, okay, well, yeah, like I said, this is he's been doing this for 6 years.
Yeah.
Uh, he uh, he actually hit 2 milestones in the past couple of weeks. He finally got 300 subscribers. He is now currently at 308, and this morning he hit 9,000 views,
Okay. Good.
which is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good for someone like him. Now he's wanting to start streaming a little bit more, but yeah, he does this, and he does this. He tries to have fun with it, but he also it's almost like he does like a safe haven because he does talk about he has talked or spoken mental illness,
Yeah.
and it's almost I hate to use the word safe space because it's used like it's
Oh,
used
I
so
know what you
badly
mean.
now,
SJW is totally ruined that
but
name.
it's a haven, I guess you would say, for people that do have issues going on and feel like they can't go nowhere. And he's literally said, "Hey, come here, we'll talk it out."
Cool. All
And I
right.
mean, and he has. There've been past videos where he's done that.
So you could watch Darkside Phil, and you can tell where he can tell you about his tax problems and house problems and not being able to afford a cat or something. Or you can go to this guy and feel more welcomed and invited. I like it. I like it already.
Yeah, yeah, he will. I
So
mean,
now
he will. I mean,
what's the deal with Horror Month? Like if we donate to him, something happens, right?
yeah. Honestly, and right now would be like the perfect time because he is a stressful part of the game. But when you donate to him through Streamlabs, he has it set up where it gives off this really terrifying like sound and graphic, and I've scared him so many times, and I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of my crack. I,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. I just every time I'm sitting just waiting, just waiting. I've never enjoyed someone like cussing at me so much in my life, but it's really really funny, and if you like I said, if you don't, you can even just donate $1 and it'll still happen.
All right.
And because I made a joke. I said, dude, I'm going to treat you like forgive the expression. I said, I'm going to treat you like a stripper. I'm just going to send you a bunch of singles this year round.
Right.
And he's like, hey, it
Oh
spends
man,
the
I could give
same.
him a
I'm like,
dollar.
all right.
Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, just give it a minute. It'll probably be a little delayed.
Oh, I gotta find a Streamlab link first. That's the thing.
Hold on. I'll put it in the chat. Hold on.
See, maybe it's because I'm in theater mode. Maybe it has it down here.
Heck.
Donation tips.
Yeah. Click the red donation tips. Click on that. But essentially, it's streamlabs.com/MCCE
Oh, this part I'll
slash
take off the
tip.
scene. Oh, okay. Username. Dick Masterson Real. $1.
That's nice.
I know, right?
Honestly, if you use the username, like I would put Deadman or Mr. Deadman. That way he knows who it came from.
Oh, okay. Okay. Mr. Dead Man. All right. And
All right, I got to hear this now.
donate it. Are we still good? Okay, there we go.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Just give it a second. We're a little delayed.
Yeah, there's a little delay. I noticed there's like a little blip that happened on my
I
side.
promise. No, it's like perfect time. Hold on. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for it.
No, I just say my OBS went red for a second. I'm like, motherfucker. God damn it.
No, just wait. Just
Okay.
wait.
It just
that would've been
happened?
a perfect time.
It just happened?
No, I said that would have been that would have been no, not yet. Hold on. I'm just saying that would have been a perfect time.
Okay, so I donated $1. And what happens?
Okay, just watch.
Oh, there we
Just
go.
Keep watching.
There we go. So suck him out like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said, "Fuck."
I heard that. Oh, that's good stuff. I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what you guys could do.
Oh,
I'll tell you what.
Bears, dude. Bears.
Any donation money you send to me right now for this vodka drinking shit, I will give $1 to I'll share some. That's what I'm saying.
Oh gosh, that's so funny.
Because I want to do that again. Oh man.
He
That's
said,
fun.
"He said I was waiting for that." He said, "I was waiting for it, and y'all still got me."
Yeah. So that's what happens.
When you least expect it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
When
all
you
right.
least expect it, that's when you catch it.
Yeah. So I know we were talking about the Joker movie. I mean, what do y'all? Okay, what do y'all think this is gonna do for comic book movies? You think it's gonna have a significance? Because we're talking about a movie. This, what was the budget for this film? I'm not exactly sure, but it definitely wasn't like high end, like explosions and CGI and shit like that. But it made a good ton of money. If Hollywood could,
Hey, let me tell you what. The first theater I went to go watch today was sold out
yeah,
at 2 p.m. So that'll give you an idea. It's still selling a lot of tickets.
of course,
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's literally number one in the world right now. And that's world, not U.S. World.
Mm-hmm. No,
I think one of the reasons why is because it approaches mental illness in a very objective and forthright manner. Like mental illness isn't a joke.
Mm-hmm.
It's not used for comedy. It's not used for, it's not just a trope.
right.
It really is like pulling back the curtain and seeing what that life is like.
Yeah.
And I believe that connects with a lot of people. No matter what else is going on in the story, I think that aspect connects with a lot of people. That almost everybody has had some experience with mental illness, personally, with family, with friends. It's almost impossible to go through life without being touched by that.
Yeah, I was during like the unscheduled breaks. I was telling SK that my wife has bipolar, and it was she has type 2 bipolar.
Okay.
And there's no mania. It's always the dumps. And it got pretty bad. I mean, the thing about it is I was actually in delusion about her being bipolar. I didn't want to believe it, but it was pretty rough, and it kind of came to a head. And I was actually out of town on business. I was in Tennessee when she told me she actually felt like killing herself. And I went into the biggest panic ever. I ended up having to call my father, telling him to get to the house quick, don't leave her. And when I got home, I literally had to wheelbarrow her, for the expression, to the doctor and tell them, because she had just gotten her diagnosis, that she was, she went to a psychologist and got the diagnosis, and she was wanting to tap dance around getting medicated, which a lot of bipolar people will do. She was coming up with every excuse she could not to get medicated or to delay it. And she says, well, no, I just need to go get therapy and then I can get medicated. And I told her flat out, I said, sweetheart, that's like me asking you to build a house and not giving you hammer and nails. I said, I said, what you have right now, you need to be medicated. And it really, honestly, it was a toll. It affected our children. I'm still a little traumatized from it, but we're healing. And she's been medicated for 2 years, actually this month, and it's been a night and day difference. I mean, she still struggles. She still has. I mean, she's had a rough life. I mean, she very much connected with Arthur, because a lot of what Arthur went through, she has actually gone through. So
oh man,
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's pretty deep. It's really deep, and so yeah, like I said, they really do touch on that mental illness, and they really does show, like, this is a problem. This is something that's going on, or this is something that goes on every day, and a lot of us will just turn a blind eye to it.
right?
And then when someone finally snaps, they were like, they want to make it a political agenda, which I mean, I'm going to say, no, it's not a political agenda. We all turned a blind eye to it. And granted, yeah, the person who snapped is responsible for their actions, but don't sit there and act like it's such a huge surprise when all the signs are there and you just don't want to look at it.
Right.
No, it's uncomfortable. It's, people feel really uncomfortable around mental illness. And I mean, you can't just say, oh, some people are. No, everybody gets uncomfortable when somebody starts acting out because of their mental illness. Nobody wants to be around that.
No one really
wants to be around it.
You work a few years at a psych facility. You kind of get an understanding. Like, okay, all right, let's make sure things are safe. All right, I don't know. You navigate.
Yeah, but if you're not a mental health professional and you just run across this type of behavior, very, very rarely, it's like you just don't want to be around it.
Right.
Yeah.
But of course, in my experience, it was a closed environment. Like, they couldn't get out and stuff like that. And it was pretty controlled. But I did see where people would go off their meds willingly because of various dumb reasons. Oh, the government's just trying to control us and stuff like that. Man, if they successfully get off, we have like a week of problems. Things go wrong, and it's like, fuck, god damn it, they just need to get back to their fucking meds.
And it's a very common thing for people, especially bipolars and schizophrenics, to think that, after they've been on their meds for a long time, they think they're better.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't need it now. I'm better now.
Taking it, yes.
And they'll stop taking it because they think they don't need it. That they're cured.
Or they're not patient with the medication. They'll take one and think it's just not working, and then they'll double up, and it's still, they'll either take one and quit or double up.
Yeah.
And then they'll quit. And that was how I actually kind of got through to my wife is she was diagnosed ADHD and bipolar, and she was only wanting to take the ADHD medicine. And I said, look, I can't force you to take your medication. I said, it has to be your choice.
Yeah.
And I told her, but I mean, she, like I said, but she got diagnosed, and the dad, for lack of a better term, forced her to go to the doctor. She was angry. She was really in a bad place with me. And I mean, like literally, like in my job, I work nights, and I was trying to sleep. She would sometimes just come in, wake me up that very day, just yelling at me because of me that I made her go to the doctor.
Mm.
And she, and then she came in, and I just about had, I just about had enough of it, to the point where I needed some sleep, and because I cared about what was going on with her, but I had to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I ended up staying up. And the way I got her to kind of stop and think, because I told her, I leaned forward, I said, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to give me the most brutal, honest truth of an answer. And I said, I said, trust me, I'll know if it's honest or not. And she goes, okay. So she leaned forward, almost spiteful, like, yeah, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. You don't know what you're talking about. And I said, if you decide to take the mood stabilizer, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to take one and think it's not working and stop, or you're gonna take one, think it's not working and double up. And she was like, and she literally like was getting ready to point her finger and say wrong, and then she came to a realization. She was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'll do. And I said, and the reason why I knew that, I have a little brother who's bipolar, and he, you know, he did the same thing. And she, like, after that, she still was like pacing, and she literally was pacing in our front yard with our dog on a leash. And then she stopped and just goes, "Oh my God, I look like a crazy person out here." She came inside. And after that realization, she's just like, you know what? Maybe I do need to see what this is, because I was just pacing with the dog on the leash in the front yard. She says, in my head, I was walking the dog, but all I was doing was just pacing like a lion in a cage. And I was like, yeah. I said, I didn't see it. I said, but it's funny to hear you tell it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, ever since that day, she has been medicated. I mean, and it was a night and day difference. I mean,
No, that's
she was big about medication, but night and day difference. So
yeah, that's one
and
thing
we
to
were
take away
blessed like that.
from this. To take away is that mental illness is not a joke, guys. I mean, like,
It's terrifying.
yeah, I think that's one reason why this Joker movie it connects with people. It is interesting because you are kind of in the shoe, or it takes you in the shoes, kind of someone you don't want to support, don't even want to root for. But at the very beginning of the film, he's like a nobody. You like, man, what's going on with this guy? Like, why his life sucks so much? You know? Just stay on your meds, okay? Talk to your therapist, talk to the professionals, talk to your family, or at least the good ones anyway. Talk to whoever you consider family, your support. You know what I'm saying?
No space. That's kind of a rule in our house. When she's, I mean, I'm just going to give tips that work, because she.
What do you mean by no space? What do you mean by no?
All right, when she would have an episode of, and it was rough, she wanted to, for lack of a better term, just disappear. Meaning she wanted to get in the car and go somewhere. And I told her flat out that I don't think that's a good idea. And she's like, why? I said, because if you stay in your head, you're going, you're not supporting, you have no support structure if you're leaving your support structure. And what we mean by no space is, for one, of course, like hugging someone, telling, being there for them, like if they're breaking down, but also being there, like just in a supportive way. Like whether you're sitting close to them, holding their hand, just something showing that they're not alone, that someone's there to go through this with them. And that's kind of the rule that we have here, is there's no space. She's having a bad day, I need to hear about it. She doesn't need to stay in her head. And if she can't talk to me, she needs to go talk to like her mom or her friends. But she but if she stays in her head, it's just going to turn worse.
Right.
So that's what I meant by no space.
Man,
Good.
that takes a lot of time. Man, you do that? That's commendable, man. That's not
It
all
was
you guys
rough.
can do that.
What
Well,
my
I mean,
mom used to do, she didn't get in the car and drive away. She would just go in the bedroom and lock the door
Oh. I was like,
for
okay.
weeks.
Oh, shit.
yeah.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It can be that bad. But I mean, like I say, the support structure is very important. I mean, they definitely, people with these bad mental illnesses that think that they have no one that's there for them. I'm going to say, odds are you do. You're just pushing them away, and you don't realize you're doing it. So if there's someone that keeps annoying you about your mental illness, don't push them away, because they're actually the ones that really are trying to help you
That's right.
and trying to support you.
That's right. All right, guys.
So,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
the stream kind of went off and on, so I don't know what's going on anymore. But if you made it this far, press the like button, share, subscribe. I'll take care of the podcast feed, make sure all the dead air parts are taken out.
okay.
Thank y'all so much. Elliot, it was great having you on to talk about the Joker movie. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed
Thanks
the
for having
film.
me on.
It was a nice change of pace of all these other comic book movies. It kind of stands out on its own. It's different.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah, it really does. And thank you for having me on. I always love it. I always love coming on. And I know I'm normally a little bit more on the funny side, but this is something
This is a
pretty
serious topic. It got serious, but that's okay. We could do real here too, man.
We can do that.
Yeah, I've done it plenty of times. I've had a bunch of
this
guests.
is fun though.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I hope I'll get to come back, because honestly, I do enjoy doing these podcasts with you guys.
Hey, yeah, you're welcome anytime, man. All right.
Yep.
Y'all take it easy.
Thank you, Patty.
Have a good one.
Have a good one, guys.